All right, guys. So we have with me right now on the back end the Honorable Commissioner for Economic Development, the Honorable Commissioner for Finance and Economic Development. On the next screen right now, you're going to see him. Do well to invite your friends, and if you have any question, please drop those questions in time so that we can have those questions in time. Okay, so right now we have the Honorable Commissioner Akintunde Oyebode. Please, let's drop your favorite emoji once again as we bring him on board. Come on, everybody, drop your favorite emoji. Drop your favorite emoji. Drop your favorite emoji. Let's see your comments. Let's see your comments. All right. And so thank you, sir, for coming on board. I just want to say thank you for making up time again to come on board. The last time we had you was when we organized, Go Global organized this session with Youth Day of Service sometimes last year, and you are also here with us live. And again today, we also have you on board to talk about positioning Ekiti for the digging economy. Actually, before you came on board, sir, the previous speaker, Barrister Mike Olaniyan, mentioned a lot about what the government should actually do. And maybe during the question and answer, we're going to bring those things on board. So over to you, sir.
Okay, so thanks first, Shola, and very well done. Just to bring this kind of forum together for people to exchange ideas, and see how we can then enable innovation and the digital economy in Ekiti State. I think for me, I'll make this very brief. Like I said to you, I'll apologize in advance. I do have a conflict, and so I might not be able to spend the entire hour with you. But in the time I'm here, I'll try to share a bit of our roadmap on how we are trying, or how we hope to enable the digital economy in Ekiti State. Now, the anchor to this conversation is what we've called Ekiti Knowledge Zone. I don't know if I can share my screen. I think, yes, I can. I'll try to share a file here just to show what the digital economy looks like and what our plan for the digital economy in the state is. It just says I can share a video file. Okay, I'll speak to it. I'm not sure there's a video file I can share. But essentially, we've anchored this around what we called Ekiti Knowledge Zone. Ekiti Knowledge Zone, for those of you who don't know about it, is a 995 hectare land size right around the Afe Babalola University. And the driver of this knowledge zone is to have a physical space, to enable innovation in the state. And it also reflects on the need, to build infrastructure, but not just infrastructure, but just to also enable human capital in the state. So what are we doing? The first thing we did was to drop the right-of-way tariff from 4,500 naira per linear meter to 145 naira per linear meter. What does that do? It's an incentive for broadband providers to invest and bring capital into Ekiti. At 4,500 per linear meter, if you're trying to lay fiber across just 1 kilometer, that's 4.5 million naira. So if you think about laying fiber across, 1,000 kilometers, that's 4.5 billion naira. Now, it's arguable, it's very debatable if providers will recover that cost within a reasonable period of time. So what we've done is to drop the right of way for fiber to 145 naira per linear meter. And what we've seen is within 3 months of doing that, MTN has now laid 300 kilometers of fiber in the state. IHS as well is planning to lay, they've started, I think they've done about 200 kilometers so far, but IHS is also planning to lay fiber across 500-600 kilometers of the state. So what you'll find is that within the next 5 to 6 months, every local government in Ekiti will have fiber running through it. So what that means is that if you set up I heard Michael speak about co-working spaces, etc. What that means is that if you set up a co-working space, there will be a duct that potentially runs through your space, or at the very least, I mean, the duct won't be more than 1 kilometer from you, which means that the cost of getting the fiber to you is now significantly cheaper than it would have been, say, a year ago. So what that means is that co-working spaces now can have access to broadband, and that then improves the broadband penetration across the states. But we didn't stop at that. We also then decided that one of the first things to do as well was to develop what we've called a regional education network. And what does that mean? It means that we're creating effectively a local area network for Afe Babalola University, Ekiti State University, Federal University Ekiti, and the Bamdele Olumilua University of Science and Technology in Ikere. And what that does is it's going to effectively bring those 4 universities together, and they will share a local network where there's not just internet connectivity across the 4 universities, but the students of those universities can now interact like they're in a local environment. And what that does is that it spurs collaboration, it spurs innovation, not just on the learning side, but even on the product development and business development side of things. And if you've looked at where innovation has thrived, it often is led by the quality of talent within the university community, within the tertiary institutions. And that's something that we're very keen to develop. So, one, I've spoken about what we're doing to deepen broadband penetration in the States, which I must say is one of our most successful interventions, because we're seeing the outcomes as we speak. 2, I've spoken about the regional education network across the state, which is primarily targeted at tertiary institutions. But 3 is also a number of things we're doing on the talent development side. At the end of the day, if you ask InterSwitch or you ask System Spec or whoever it is, Oracle, Microsoft, Google, name it, to bring a facility to Ekiti, there are 2 things they'll ask of us. Where's the infrastructure? So where's the broadband to support this? But 2, where's the talent, right? We can't ship all our people from Lagos to Ekiti. So they're going to ask us, where's the talent in Ekiti that we can use? And that's why we've been very interested, and we've been very focused on talent development programs. We did the Global Skilling Initiative program with Microsoft, which again is supposed to provide digital skills for at least 2,000 people. We're constantly looking for other skill development programs, whether it's internship programs, whether it's remote programs, remote learning opportunities. But the aim is to at least build a pool of 5,000 to 10,000 digital natives in Ekiti State, such that when there's now a need from any of these companies, there's sufficient talent in Ekiti to fill that need. So those are in my opinion, those are the 2 more important things. Now, what else are we doing? I mean, as part of the Ekiti Cares program, which is a program supported by the World Bank, we are providing digital tools to at least 1,000 small businesses in Ekiti. And we're starting from fairly basic tools, storefront, payment gateways, geotagged locations, and also just giving them a lot of social media presence, right? So it's effectively saying you operate within Ekiti, but we want to get you to have proper digital presence. Now, in my opinion, what that does is that it starts to create awareness around
I think the Honorable Commissioner is having an issue with his network.
One other thing we're focused on is also using the state government as an enabler of technology. So what do I mean by that? We're currently digitizing our land registry. We are taking an inventory of property records across the state. We've digitized our collection portal and our collection methods with the Ekiti Internal Revenue Service. We launched something called the Ekiti Revenue Automation System to ensure that we can now collect payments electronically, and we can serve taxpayers remotely. We're doing a full-scale digitization of government records that's about to commence. and we're going to be digitizing government records and digitizing our archive. And for me, all of those things means that government is moving from what's a fairly analog system to one that's digitally inclined. And the opportunity there is that there's going to be lots of space for young entrepreneurs in and outside of Ekiti, to participate in this process. As government moves from a fairly analog system to using more digital channels, it then creates follow-on opportunities for young entrepreneurs within the state to then participate in this transformation. We're also very keen to see the growth of women-led businesses in the state. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is with this digitization program I said we're doing as part of Ekiti Cares, is going to be heavily focused on women-led businesses. Because our belief is that we have to democratize opportunities for women, especially young women. And I mean, you see the program will launch in the next couple of months. I believe by the end of August, early September, the program should be live. And you'll see how we intend to support the transformation of what we know as fairly traditional businesses into the digital space. So I'm very excited, about the future of Ekiti. And this is outside of the physical infrastructure. And like I said, we're building the Ekiti Knowledge Zone. Ekiti Knowledge Zone is situated about 2 kilometers from Afe Babalola University. It's situated, I think it's 1 kilometer from the proposed site of the Ekiti Airport. And the idea of that space is effectively a place where, one, we have an anchor tenant, potentially a tertiary institution, but also to be a hub for business process outsourcing and the service industry in Nigeria. Indeed, it's designed as the first service-focused special economic zone in the country. So unlike the SEZs that you know about, where it's really about industrialization and the manufacture of physical goods, EKZ is really designed to serve the knowledge economy. And what do we mean by the knowledge economy? It's payment companies, it's call contact centers, it's labs for machine learning, it's annotation for artificial intelligence, anything you can think about along that spectrum. But we recognize that we're going to have to start this, one step at a time, which is why we led with providing the infrastructure. Now that we think that we've gotten some appreciable progress on infrastructure provision, we've now moved on to the next layer, which is effectively just talent development. And we believe that when we get the talent development phase right, we then can go out there and start to attract, the large-scale employers and large-scale technology companies to come into Ekiti State. So it's a marathon. I think we're moving ahead quite well. It's taking some time, but I'm very happy to announce that, for example, with Ekiti Knowledge Zone, the African Development Bank has agreed to give us $250,000 to prepare the full feasibility study for the zone. And we're sure that by the time we're done and we make the business case, we will also receive funding from AFDB, to actually build out that knowledge zone. For me, it's a validation. The fact that we even got this grant is a validation of the vision. And so, I mean, for me, again, I think to wrap up and before you give sending your questions, it's really, for me, an honor and a privilege, to be part of this journey, and it's really an exciting period to be in Ekiti, to help shape, the future of the digital economy in the state. And I mean, I can tell anyone here that, look, you can rest assured, that when we're done with this process, 5-10 years from now, some of us might not be, present in Ekiti anymore. We might have gone on to do other things. But I hope that those of you who are on this call will remember our conversation today, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds for our state. Thank you very much. And again, thanks, Shola, for what you do, for the convening powers that you have, for always bringing these young people together, for providing your platform, for people like me to share ideas and interact with your colleagues. It's not something that I take for granted. I appreciate the work that you're doing. Very well done. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for coming on board, and thank you for sharing all day. Please, guys, let us drop our favorite emoji in the comment section in appreciation of the Honorable Commissioner. Quick question. Someone says, how about Federal Polytechnic? I think it was when you were mentioning about the digital economy, which comprises Upward and all of that.
Yeah, so I mean, we're going, Fed Poly is in the mix. I mean, yeah, the Polytechnic is right opposite Abwad. Abwad is thankfully the hub. So I mean, extending that to Fed Poly is not a difficult conversation. One of the things that we're trying to do is to get the authorities at the Polytechnic, you know, to also join in this discussion. If you ask me, I think in 3 months we'll extend this to Federal Polytechnic Ado. But the people who were the most responsive when we started the conversation are the ones that we are piloting with. But you know, one of the things I also want you to do is go back to your campus, you know, let your rector know, you know, because when I go back to him, I want them to treat this with the level of seriousness it deserves. But I like the question, and it's something that I'm going to also take back to say to them, guys, you know, your students are here asking for this, you know, so you don't want to miss out on the train. But again, you know, Fed Poly we'll have them in the mix. You have my word on that.
All right, great. Thank you so much. You know, before, like I said, before your session, Barrister Mike, we'll call him Coach Mike, actually. So he mentioned the fact that, you know, for example, digitization, which we've already talked about, but there's something profound which he mentioned. He said, you know, that there's need for us to provide data, to provide internet, just like talking about a particular place whereby there will be no security issues, there will be no internet failure, there will be electricity and all of that. What is the government actually doing about it? I think it's about the knowledge economy, but you might have more to say about it, sir.
Okay, so I mean, I think EKZ can provide, within the EKZ space, there's obviously going to be co-working infrastructure. There's an independent power plant, for example, planned for the zone, 5 megawatt plant, right, to power the zone. So there's a need to build out some of the physical infrastructure with things like internet access. The moment you have broadband, we've taken away the biggest cost, you see, Shola, which is the right of way cost, right? Which means you can get high-speed internet for a reasonable amount. One of the things that I'm very keen to see us test in Ekiti is, for example, something that we've tested in my time at the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, was to provide vouchers to startups to work out of co-working spaces. Now, the challenge, and I'll be very honest with you, is I did a test. This is now me as a private individual, and I was offering vouchers to startups in Ekiti to work out of one of the hubs. And I simply did not get enough startups, right, to take up those vouchers, right? So one of the things that we're hoping that we can get out of sessions like this is for us to even understand who's doing what, right? If, for example, you know, Go Global can easily say to us, this is a database of early stage technology enabled ventures in Ekiti, right? And there are 200-300 of those. It then becomes a lot easier to start to design things to support them. Because there's no point building or renting a space and fitting it out as a co-working space if you're going to have 20% occupancy, right? It's not the best use of government resources, you know. So, you know, part of my role as finance commissioner is to optimize, you know, the utilization of government resources, you know. So if we don't think that there's enough uptake for a co-working space, no one is going to invest in it. So that's my challenge to you as well, that give us the numbers, you know, give us the data that underpins some of these requests, and it's something that we'll look at.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much, sir. I know that, for example, you are actually sponsoring some people, and one of the guys who is in charge of that particular project reached out to me, and I want to quickly project that particular project into the screen so that if any other person is interested, can easily go and register. So this is it, everybody. It's called Digital Training and Internship for Youths in Ekiti State. And if you want to apply, all you need to go is to go to kimplusgroup.com/interns. Kimplusgroup. You can take a screenshot of this right now. And the slot is only available for, you know, for 30 applicants. So make sure that you do this as soon as possible. And then, you're going to learn software development, UI, UX, and graphic design, and also video training, just anyone that you want. So, but make sure that you go and register. But the tutor actually told me that some people think, don't have time. So make sure that you have time. You can commit 6 months, to this training. So take a screenshot of it right now, as I'm going to take it off the screen. All right. So that particular project is sponsored by Honorable Akintunde Oyebode. All right. It's sponsored by this person speaking, by the Honorable Commissioner. So make sure that you go and register ASAP. And the Honorable Commissioner also, has brought this. I know we're going to have a session about investing in Ekiti, where we're going to bring someone, a representative from Microsoft, and also some other people who are going to talk about opportunities that you can always leverage on. So, sir, before you go, I want to have your final word. But like you said, we're going to give you the data. We're going to give you the data,
please,
right? Because we have a lot of people who come to us, they'll say, they don't have 7,500 per month, to use the space. Some people will say they don't even have money to register for our web design or digital marketing class. So maybe, we hope that you'll be able to sponsor some people too, out of the people that are watching right now. So guys, please go ahead and register. I will show this banner again after the Honorable Commissioner has left. So your final words, sir, before you leave.
I mean, I think for me, the general philosophy is that talent might be very well distributed, but opportunity often isn't. And our role as government is to democratize opportunities for young people. So our commitment to you is that if you have the talent, if you have the right work ethic, that the government will support you. That will create the environment that allows you to maximize that talent and that opportunity. And you don't have to leave Ekiti, to maximize your talent. So that will be my final word. That you can rest assured that by the time we're leaving government in October of next year, there'll be more than enough opportunities for businesses in Ekiti, and for small or for startups and entrepreneurs, digital entrepreneurs in Ekiti. To maximize, the talent they have. So it's going to be a long journey. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So you will continue, and hopefully we'll have many more of these sessions. And I'll only be too glad to continue to share updates, of the work we're doing. But again, thank you very much to the conveners of the summit for having me here, for having me with you. And I wish you a successful summit. Thank you.